Hi everyone and welcome to Review Magic. Today we're going to be reviewing 100 Days My Prince. Now, if you've been looking for a Korean period drama that is sweet and spicy, this might be the right review video for you. So stay tuned and we'll dig right into it. All right, so let's talk about the plot of 100 Days My Prince. I found this show on Netflix, and as you guys are already aware, looking at a lot of the past videos that I have reviewed, I love Korean period drama. There's something very unique about it. Now, what is in this particular show? So this series came out in 2018 and it's got 16 episodes on it. Essentially, the plot is there is a crown prince. He loses his memory while assassins are chasing and trying to kill him, and he ends up becoming a commoner in a small village, and until he realizes or events unfold where he knows he's actually the crown prince, he avenges himself by killing people that were behind his assassination. And also in the meantime, he has developed relationship with this beautiful charming girl who is actually his childhood friend, but ends up meeting him while he grows up as an adult. So it's a story of love, drama, romance, mystery, thriller, comedy, all that into this one particular show. Now let's talk about the story of 100 Days My Prince. Now, a lot of Korean period dramas, they essentially look and feel the same. It's all about a king. He has his ministers. There is some politics going on. People are trying to do a coup. There is some kind of drama unfolding between the king and his ministers or his son. And of course, there is in the backdrop, there is a village where people are just continuing their life. There is some drought or some rain issues going on, some administration work and all that. So you kind of feel that this the same show as not. But one thing that you will notice that is strikingly different about 100 Days My Prince is the romantic edge. Now that is very unique about it, and not in every show that I have seen this particular element. Like the main protagonist, he and his child buddy friend, they kind of have a liking for each other, and the circle closes where they both end up together as adult. Of course, there are some chain of events that unfold. There is separation that happens between the two. They get lost, but life brings them together after nurturing and going through so many different life-changing events. So that is something very different about it. Of course, it's a good mix of fast pace and slowness as well. 16 episodes, in my opinion, what a bit too long for 100 Days My Prince. But you've got to be very patient with these kind of shows because it starts off very fast. There is an assassination attempt, there is a coup. Of course, the kings are assassinated, and then the story becomes very slow. So you have to really, the layers of this story will unfold essentially one after the other episode. So it kind of makes sense, but maybe this could have been rushed. But yes, definitely a kind of show that will need patience when you watch it. But look for everything. It's not just how quickly I want to get this showed. And that's the beauty of 100 Days My Prince, is because today there are so many sci-fi movies, the world has become very fast, but this transports you back in almost the 12th to 14th century Joseon era. There is this calmness, people have a lot of time with each other, community is building, there are not too many people around, people are reading a lot of books, people are engaging with each other. There are good conversations happening. Yes, there are bad elements as well. But overall, this is a period, that you can cherish, if you are especially a history fan. And the reason this story is called 100 Days My Prince is because the crown prince, he has initiated a order. I was talking about this child crown prince who ends up becoming bigger, and then he issues an order that all the spinsters and bachelors in the village or in his kingdom, they all have to get married. Apparently, they think that when everyone gets married, it will start to rain and there won't be any drought issues. So while that happens, and of course there is an assassination attempt on the crown prince, and while he's on the mountains, he slips, he loses his memory because his head strikes a stone, then he becomes a commoner, and he ends up marrying the same girl who he used to like as a kid. Now, this girl has become an adult, he has also become an adult, and that relationship between them lasts for 100 days. So that's why it's called 100 Days, My Prince, because after that, he regains his memory. People reach out to him that, hey, you're the crown prince, you need to come back to the palace. So, of course, I mean, this is a story that is going to resonate not just in Korea, but internationally as well. I watched this entire season in almost 6 to 7 days, and I watched it in the Korean language. I mean, my recommendation to you is to watch it. There is actually no English audio available, but you will feel more for the culture, for the show, for the characters, for the acting if you actually see it. So I like the story overall. As I've said in the beginning, there are a lot of Korean dramas I've seen, but this has that romantic edge. The chemistry between the main protagonists is so strong. You feel for them. So it touches you, it resonates with you, and it is actually a very beautiful, well-made story, in my opinion. Now, when we talk about the direction, Jong Jae Lee and then Sung Woo Nam, these are the two directors of the show. And in my opinion, I think that they have done a pretty decent job in kind of showing a story where two kids who like each other, and then of course as an adult they come back again, and unraveling that story is actually not easy. It requires a blend of all the different things coming together and still giving you that kind of edge, that fire that you want to see this story because it's beautifully crafted. So I would say direction wise, when you want to see how this story is progressing, I was blown away by 100 Days, My Prince. I did not have that many expectations going into it because after a while everything feels the same. Of course, every story has a message. They've put in a lot of hard work into it. But the question in today's world is like, which one should I pick? But the good thing is that I have done that review for you. I've seen this show. So definitely direction-wise, this story, even though it's slow, then it goes fast, then it slows, then it goes fast. There is some meaning behind it. There is a reason why it is made that way. And just to show something that happened back in that time, even though it's a fiction story, and how to bring the different elements together, I thought it's commendable. So good overall direction, in my opinion. Now let's talk about the actors here. So the main protagonist here is Do Kyung-soo. He's the lead actor. And then you have Nam Ji-hyun, who is the lead actress. And then you also have that villain here, who's Jo Sung-ha. Of course, there are a list of other actors that were phenomenal. I haven't listed their names, but all the credit goes to them. I don't think there's anyone in the show that I felt had been casted by mistake or is not performing up to the levels. I mean, everyone was superb in this, but definitely Kyun-soo and Nam Ji. I was looking at the profile of Do Kyung-soo. He's actually a singer in Korea, and he is the crown prince here, and he does a magnificent job. I think the one thing that you will really like about his character is that he's very calm and he's very still. He uses very few words because he's the crown prince. Maybe it's his training, his etiquettes, and then he says something with very flat face. He doesn't smile. He doesn't, at least in the early years when he was a crown prince, he gets frustrated because his father had staged this assassination attempt. He became the king. So Do Kyung-soo now becomes the crown prince, but he's always agitated because his father killed the father of this girl that he liked, and then they ran away. So he's always agitated. So he's very, very cold. He's not very warm. He's kind of reserved. So he remains like reclusive, introvert, but that face that he has is something to watch for. So I really enjoyed Do Kyung-soo's acting. Nam Ji-hyun, of course, a beautiful, pretty face in the Korean industry. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing her. Her acting was also superb, guys. Like, I mean, she complemented the role of this actress in a very dignified way. Now, she acts as a commoner. She was actually the childhood friend of the crown prince, but she gets drifted away because there is a murder attempt, and then she gets adopted by a stepfather, and then she just lives a very homely, docile, a loving daughter who is just doing her jobs as a common villager. and is sensible, is not like a dumb or something. I mean, there are some villagers around that are not dumb, but they are more comical. They're characters. They're more like cartoon people, and that kind of helps bring some kind of, it breaks the monotony for this movie, because it can get too political, it can get too dramatic. There's assassination, there's murder, thriller, but they help to bring that lighter tone in it. So Nam Ji Kyun and Doo's chemistry is awesome. I mean, they almost feel like they're real life, boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife. I mean, the casting couldn't have been perfect. So I really enjoyed their acting, and hopefully in the future I will see more of their roles coming out. But the character played, I mean, this is a prince and this is like the commoner Namji. Everything was good. Now, one thing that I do want to tell you is that while the focus is on the prince, his girlfriend or partner, Do, Kyung Soo, and Nam Ji Kyun, the main character that I liked was Jo Sung Ha. Now, he's the villain in this show, and he speaks with his eyes. I talked about Do Kyung Soo. He has a very flat face, so he has a different personality and aura. Jo Sung Ha he's sharp eyes, like the way he looks at you like a villain. It couldn't have been a perfect casting for him. I mean, I was simply amazed by his acting. I mean, he tries to play this person who is overpowering the king, who is plotting, who's conniving, who's like that fox, who has these bad intentions. And you never know what's coming out of his mind when he starts talking. He has a team of assassins that do the bad job. He's almost like the chief of staff in the kingdom, and people kind of are afraid of him. And that's because his personality, it's just so strong. He also says less words. He speaks so much with his eyes, and he's a sharp guy. So his character also for the 16 episodes will also be very good. That you will enjoy. In the end, although I felt like his character, where he gets, I don't want to give spoilers, but it does kind of feel like he gets killed too easily for some reason. So that's the weakest part. But overall, I think if I had to pick someone, it has to be Jo Sung. I was simply amazed by acting. There's so much talent in that part of the world, and you will only see it when you start watching these shows. So that is on my acting. And as I said, rest of the cast is also amazing. I looked at a lot of those people who are in their IMDb, their list. These are really good actors, guys. So all the credit goes to this entire acting cast. And so give it a try, guys. And that's all from my side. If you like this review, give it a thumbs up, like, or subscribe to my channel. Until then, this is Siddharth Kumar signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.